The Clifton Suspension Bridge is a landmark of Bristol, designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel and spanning across the River Avon between Clifton and Leewoods. The bridge is 150 years old, but surprisingly there are parts of the bridge that are even older. Brunel's original design had two sets of chains and a light timber deck, and Brunel never saw his bridge completed as money ran out when only the towers and the abutments were built. But Brunel's death, ironically, was the incentive to complete the project, and in 1858 a fellow engineer, John Hawkshaw, when taking down the Hungerford footbridge in London, realised the chains and saddles could be used to complete the Clifton Bridge, and he teamed up with engineer William Barlow to finish the project. Hawkshaw and Barlow made some significant changes to Brunel's design. They changed the timber deck to a wrought iron deck, and thus that increased the weight. And to support this additional weight, a third chain was added. And today this creates a real challenge for repainting the chains. Painting that middle chain is a bit like trying to paint behind a radiator. It all has to be done by hand. The deck itself is suspended from the chains using the wrought iron suspension rods, and only 10 out of the 162 rods have had to be replaced over time as part of refurbishment of the bridge. The new rods are made of steel and more modern material, and the design closely matches the original wrought iron rods, but if you look closely you might be able to spot some slight differences. The rods then are attached to the longitudinal girders which run the full length of the bridge and separate the footways from the carriageway. They carry the wrought iron cross girders that were introduced by Hawkshaw and Barlow. And then at the edge of the deck is the parapet fence, and it's supported by curved cast iron stanchions, which are a bit like fence posts but also contribute to the stiffness and strength of the deck. And cast iron can be brittle, and cracks were found in some, so the paint was removed off all of them and a detailed investigation carried out on all the stanchions. And then where cracks were found, the stanchions have been replaced with new cast iron ones made in the same way as the original, so they look identical. Where the chains go over the top of the towers, there are saddles which sit on a series of 25 rollers, and the rollers allow longitudinal movement of the chains, accommodating changes in loads, but principally changes in temperature of the chains. And one challenge is to make sure the rollers don't seize up. There is a monitoring system to check the rollers are still moving, and they are inspected, cleaned and greased every other year. The towers of the bridge sit on two stone abutments, and many years ago when the drawings of the original bridge had been lost, it was thought these abutments were solid. A borehole was drilled through one of the abutments to check this, and it did come up showing it was solid. But after water was seen draining away into the top of the abutment during some routine maintenance, further investigations were carried out, and it was found that they were actually hollow. So there are small vaults inside the Clifton abutment, and underneath the Leewoods abutment there are large cathedral-like vaults, which are now open to the public through a tour. The age of the bridge is a testament to the quality of the original Brunel design, but also we obviously need to recognise Hawkshaw and Barlow for completing it. And like most bridges, maintaining and conserving this Grade 1 listed historic landmark is a continuing job, and we try and keep interventions as true to the original design as possible.